in the heart of a vast, snow-kissed empire. The year 1917 arrived like a cold wind that refused to melt. The Russian steppe held its breath as the old order strained under the pressure of war, famine, and fading faith in a czar who had long claimed to bear the weight of an entire nation. Steam rose from factory vents and from the mouths of tired workers who cried out in chorus for mercy, wages, and a future that did not end in breadlines and fear. Among them moved a figure who would not stay silent. Vladimir Lenin, exiled, then returning with a plan written in the margins of his resolve. A map not of land, but of power. The first flame of change crackled in Petrograd, a city that wore its pain like a coat too thin for the winter. March came in with the murmur of protest that grew into a roar. Women, men, and soldiers, peasant, factory hand, clerk took to the streets, banners waving not just in defiance, but in the quiet hope that maybe the morning would bring something new. The Tsar's grip loosened as soldiers deserted, and the city's heartbeat shifted from obedience to doubt. Nicholas II abdicated, and with his crown's clink fading into the distance, a provisional government stepped forward, trying to steer a ship flung onto uncharted seas. Into this liminal moment stepped Lenin, a man who spoke not of mercy alone, but of a new rule, one that would bend the very idea of government toward a Soviet of workers and soldiers. He urged an end to what he saw as a needless continuation of a war that drained the people dry. Yet the world outside Russia did not stand still. Allied ships and foreign guns drifted into the theater of Bolshevik dreams, while internal rivals watched, weighing whether the old world could be reimagined before it dissolved completely. The story as center gathers strength in the moment of October, not a single night of fire and sword, but a night of conviction. The Bolsheviks, led by Lenin, seized the moment with a force that felt both inevitable and terrifying. They did not merely topple a government. They challenged the legitimacy of centuries of rule. The Winter Palace glowed with a strange stillness as the uprising unfolded in a city that had learned to count its losses in blood, and its gains in the fragile promises of a new dawn. The old order buckled. The Bolsheviks began to write a new script for Russia, one in which power did not sit atop a throne, but moved through the hands of councils to Soviets. Yet power is never a solitary rhyme. It is a chorus of competing voices. In Petrograd and beyond, the provisional government confronted a parliament that did not belong to them alone, and the Soviet movement's energy drew in peasants, workers, and soldiers who wanted a say in how their lives would be shaped. The stage expanded to Moscow, Kiev, Crimea, and the vast expanses where the Red Army would one day claim the field. The tale became not just a drama of revolution, but a grindstone for foreign intervention, a chessboard where nations sought to tilt outcomes to their own designs. In the months that followed, Russia's economy buckled under the strain of war and policy. The Bolsheviks pursued bold, sometimes brutal, solutions nationalizing industries, seizing land, and requisitioning grain to keep the army fed. The phrase war communism will become the whispered slogan of necessity, an attempt to keep a struggling state on its feet, even as it strangled ordinary life. The rails carried soldiers and supplies. The factories, once bustling with industry, now served the cause of a war that history will call both liberation and coercion. The line between hero and tyrant blurred as the state as ad hoc decisions filled and hollowed out lives at the same time. Within the narrative, a constellation of actors rose and fell. The white movement, comprising former officers, nationalists, and conservatives, saw itself as the rightful custodian of Russia's legacy, even as it found itself fractured by rivalries and strategic miscalculations. The Czechoslovak Legion's loyalty shifted like a wind across the taiga, becoming pivotal in Siberia's stubborn loyalty to either side. Foreign powers, Britain, France, Japan, and others intervened with the aim of reigning in the possibility of a holy Bolshevik victory, a foreign footprint on Russian soil that stirred fears of imperial domination and national humiliation alike. The horror of civil war is not a single event, but a sequence of shocks, massacres, purges, and the quiet, terrible routine of daily life under siege. Red Terror, an era of terror aimed at crushing counter-revolution and dissent, left cities in a hush that felt like dawn after a long, merciless night. The White Terror did not stay silent either, with its own brutal campaigns against suspected Bolsheviks and their sympathizers. In the villages and front lines, families were torn apart, and the line between enemy and neighbor blurred into indiscernible shades of fear and survival. Amid this maelstrom, two men, Lenin and Trotsky, shaped a trajectory that would echo beyond Russia's borders. Lenin's insistence on consolidating power, even at the cost of political pluralism, and Trotsky's relentless discipline and organizational genius, forged a Red Army capable of absorbing losses, reforming quickly, and pushing back against forces that seemed at times almost insurmountable. The war's tempo swung like a pendulum, advances, retreats, and counterstrikes that stretched into the harsh years of 1918 and 1919. With the Reds slowly gaining the upper hand as they leveraged a combination of centralized control, strategic mobilization, and fierce commitment to their cause. The cost of victory was counted not only in territory, but in human life and memory. As the Bolsheviks extended their reach, the nation's cities endured famine, requisitioning, and mass mobilization. The countryside bore the weight of agricultural wartime policy, while the frontiers grew increasingly unstable as neighboring powers sought to shape post-war borders and influence. The ensuing peace that Russia would eventually claim, though hard-won and costly, brought with it the intangible, a new sense of possibility, and a new uneasy global balance of power. By 1922, the Soviet Union began to take shape, a federation of republics organized around a new political center that claimed to represent the workers and peasants of a vast, diverse empire. The era's brutality did not simply end with the establishment of this new nation. It evolved into a different kind of struggle, the long, grinding work of building a socialist state, amid competing visions, a world hurtling toward the tensions of a century to come. Epilogue of memory and consequence. If one listens closely to the soundscape of history, the revolutions of 1917-1922 sound like a chorus of coughs and marching boots. The coughs of hunger, the boots of soldiers, maneuvering through ruined streets, and the distant thunder of armies colliding with ideologies. The story is not only about the fall of a monarchy or the rise of a planned economy, but about how a people, many divided by age, class, and creed, learned to dream anew, and to fight for those dreams with a fervor that could illuminate a country and scorch another's ambitions. In the end, the map of Russia was redrawn, not merely with lines on paper, but with the scars of generations who bore witness to a turning point in the 20th century. The Red Army's victory did not erase the voices of those who opposed it, nor did it heal all the wounds inflicted in the name of a revolution. Yet from this crucible came a new world order that would shape politics, policy, and identity for decades to come, inviting future generations to ask not only what happened, but why it mattered so deeply to the people who lived through it. If the reader longs to understand the era's complexities, remember that history is never a single thread. It's a tapestry woven from uncertainty, courage, fear, and the persistent human drive to shape the world. The Russian Revolution and Civil War stand as a testament to that enduring truth. In times of upheaval, the stories we tell about ourselves determine the futures we dare to build.